in a couple of years from now, we are not going to have a lot of people doing mechanic, furniture, and a whole lot of apprentices won't be there again.
In fact, that is another issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Because you find a little child of 15, 16 years is telling you that they have suffered too much in this life.
No, just imagine.
You understand? A 15-year-old, a 16-year-old is telling you, I have suffered too much. I know where I'm coming from. My parents are... I don't understand. What experience do you have?
No experience.
What have you suffered?
I mean, just imagine.
You understand? So now, some of us today, we went through the process. Life is a process. You must go through the process.
Thank you very much.
Now, when you don't go through the process in life, this is the kind of society that you end up having at the end of the day.
I remember vividly, when we were going to the farm, you go to the farm, harvest the cassava, you come back, you peel it, then you take it to where you grind it. You take it to where they press it,
yes,
and you bring it back home, and the next day you are thinking of frying the gari,
yes,
and for those who will go to the market and sell, that's where they will take from and go to the market. And I mean, we all did it, and the only thing was that we thought, mommy, but we get to do it.
See, it got to a stage that it was no longer something our parents were asking us to do. It was not something we were doing to support the family.
Thank you very much.
And we enjoyed doing it.
Thank you very much.
You understand? We enjoyed doing it. It's a process.
Hello, you're welcome. This is Vantage House TV. My name is Michael Simeon, and we have a guest in the house today. His name is Mr. Ojo Okoro. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me, sir.
It's really wonderful to have you here. Today we're looking at internet fraud and drug addiction, how it's affecting the young people in our society today. We are actually transmitting from Edo State, so we're going to be using Edo State as a case study in our broadcast today. Now, looking at it, we have a lot of young people who have access to so much money and they end up doing drugs. Now, what's the adverse effect in our society? What's going to be like now?
All right, thank you, Vantage House, for having me. The effect or the impact of this on our society cannot be overemphasized.
Yeah.
Because as of today, actually, if you look at the growing rate of drug abuse, is overwhelming. It's something of serious concern that we have to really talk about and bring about sensitization to the society so that the society can begin to think about ways that these issues can be
curtailed or reduced or addressed properly.
And yes, in fact, we need to nip this issue on the bud because it is actually destroying a lot of our promising youths out there.
That's true.
One thing that this has actually cost in our society is the fact that these guys that are into internet fraud, they, like you rightly said, they are having so much money with them. And of course, drugs are not cheap.
Of course.
They are not cheap. It's not something you can easily afford.
Yeah.
And so, because money is readily available to them, they are able to afford it. And over time, they have different levels of associations and friendship that makes them to test different type of drugs. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, actually, it's something that is really prevalent right now in the...
It's worrisome because statistics, according to World Health Organization, says that mental illness in Nigeria, we have in every 5 Nigerian, 1 person have mental illness. Even though we have depression, we have other causes of mental illness, but we are told that drug or substance abuse is paramount amongst the causes of mental illness.
Exactly. Before now, mental illness, although drug abuse is not something that just started. It has been from time immemorial. But the truth is, it is increasing. The rate at which the increase is what we are looking at right now.
Yeah.
Of course, today we have a lot of cartels more than we have before.
Yeah.
Now, where these drugs are being sold.
Yeah.
Of which is not something that is not that is hidden to a lot of persons, which people know out there. So the rate at which it is increasing is our concern right now. You go out there today, you see almost in every 10 youths, when we are even talking about drug or substance abuse, you know, it's not just narrowed to some of the drugs that have been made in a certain way. You know, you find that you see some youths that are just going about with some can in their hands, and you just think it's a bottle of Coke or something that they are having, but you don't know that they may have had something else,
Some other substance.
you know,
that
inside,
makes them go very high.
yes, inside that container which they may be holding, actually. But the truth is, sometimes even those who are innocent, they fall victim.
No, that's true.
They fall victim. That's you just meet them and like they're like, what are you having? Can I have a sip? You know.
And before you know.
Yes. You know, drug abuse has even extended. There was an incident recently which I cannot rightly recall, that where a birthday ceremony was organized, and the cake that was served in that birthday was a special cake that was made specially in order for them to be able to transfer drugs to those who will have from it. In fact, some persons, after that was their first time of having drugs,
So that thing sent them
indirectly
into another world.
It sent them into another.
Now, I want to quickly chip in. Sorry. Why do you think our young people want to be high? What are they running away from something, or there's a world they want to get into?
Okay. For instance, now, like you rightly said, we are centering on internet fraud and drug abuse.
Yes.
Now, you know, most of them who are into internet fraud, they need to stay awake.
Okay.
They need to be at alert.
Okay.
Because sometimes they are working on their clients, and they don't know when the client is going to respond to messages that have been sent at one time or the other. And so they need to be rightly awake in order for them to be able
To answer those messages
answer
promptly.
those messages properly.
Yeah.
And some of them take these drugs and they claim that this drug keeps them awake and makes them alert. And some even go as far as claiming that it gives them artificial intelligence. Do you understand what I'm trying to talk about?
Because what we see, I quite understand what you're saying. What we see today is a whole lot of them just derive pleasure in getting high. And sometimes they look so stupid, so funny, so terrible in that state. So I don't know if there is something that they are enjoying in that highness.
Yes. Another thing again is this. Some of them get high for different reasons.
Okay.
One of the reasons is for sexual activities.
Okay.
Yes, because of the level of sexual, you know,
They want to increase their libido?
They want to increase their libido. They claim so. They claim that it helps them to last longer, and so on and so forth. And they want to, for adventure purposes.
Okay.
They just want to have a certain feel. They want to delve into a certain level where they feel they want to do something that is extraordinary. That an ordinary mind, an ordinary right-thinking person may not be able to do. Then sometimes there are actions. Don't forget that in this internet fraud, while they are at it, they also have misunderstandings amongst themselves. Sometimes for you to be able to confront those that you feel they are your opponents, or maybe they are holding money that belongs to you, they have refused to release it and all of that. So they get high. They want to be at that level whereby they can do and undo.
Okay.
So
they want to get on the level where they can take certain decisions or actions that, you know, it's unbelievable.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, very quickly, I heard you made a statement one time, and that's one of the reasons why I felt you should also talk to the public. You said in those days, it's our young boys that were holding their parents,
yes,
you know, taking them to the hospital for Medicare and all that. But today, it's the fathers that's taking the children for because of their mental illness. What do you think it has become now? Yeah,
it's a very pathetic and a very terrible situation that the society has found itself. Like you rightly said, in those days, it was, you know, mental illness was something that you could associate with certain age level, and it depending on the type.
Or
Yes,
diabolism, where
yes,
somebody throws
and
an
all of that.
arrow and
You
all
hear
that.
that diabolism, this one happened, and all of that. But these days, you can just see that, you know, youths are beginning to drugs, serious addictions of that has led them into that situation. Ordinarily, when a father, you know, when parents are getting old, when, you know, there's the issue of dementia, there's the issue of there are lots of them that are associated with old age and all of that. Ordinarily, children are supposed to take care of parents when they are of age. They are the ones that should take care of their health and everything. Take them to the hospital when they need care and attention and all of that, you know. But today you find that the reverse is the case because of drugs. Now you see a parent of 50, 60, 70, 80 years sometimes who is supposed to be receiving care
from the children,
now being the one to start bringing the child for care. Why? Because some of these things are as a result of this drug
addiction,
substance abuse. You know, drug abuse, substance abuse, they are giving to a lot of, you know, like some of them that are common that we hear every now and then, loud, colos. There are so many. There are so many. In fact, it will be surprising for you to know that some people inhale the toilet. Those olden days toilet, those, you know,
latrine,
latrine, you know, people inhale it. People inhale fuel to get high. Fear, you know, fear, they inhale fear.
It's terrible to hear some of these things, but it's really happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. Just to get high, I don't know what they're running away from. I don't know what the kind of world they want to embrace.
Yes.
Because before now, it was just smoking of cigarettes, Indian hemp, but now we are seeing a whole lot of our young people consuming this, and that's why a lot of them don't believe in hard work.
Exactly.
Because they get into drugs and make quick money and have access to substance, which takes them to another world.
Of course.
And so, even if you look at in a couple of years from now, we are not going to have a lot of people doing mechanic, furniture, and a whole lot of apprentices won't be there again.
In fact, that is another issue that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Because you find a little child of 15, 16 years is telling you that they have suffered too much in this life.
No, just imagine.
You understand? A 15-year-old, a 16-year-old is telling you, I have suffered too much. I know where I'm coming from. My parents are... I don't understand. What experience you have?
No experience.
What have you suffered?
I mean, just imagine.
You understand? So now, some of us today, we went through the process. Life is a process. You must go through the process.
Thank you very much.
Now, when you don't go through the process in life, this is the kind of society that you end up having at the end of the day. You know, even the Bible that we read says that the poor will always be in your midst. What that means does not necessarily mean that God or Christ wishes that some persons should be poor. He understands the fact that life is a process.
Some people will be poor,
there are
and
people,
you get out of poverty.
Yes, you move. Yeah. You move. There were times that I go to school, come back, we go to the farm. You understand? We come back in the evening from the farm. There are other things we are asked to do. Sometimes we go to the market to hawk during weekends in order to help our parents to meet up.
In fact, you just said something now. I remember vividly, you know, when we were going to the farm. You go to the farm, harvest the cassava, you come back, you peel it, then you take it to where you grind it. You take it to where they press it, and you bring it back home, and the next day you are thinking of frying the gari, you know. And for those who will go to the market and sell, that's where they will take from and go to the market. And I mean, we all did it, and the only thing was that we thought, mommy, but we get to do it.
See, it got to a stage that it was no longer something our parents were asking us to do. It was not something we were doing to support the family.
Thank you very much.
And we enjoyed doing it.
Thank you very much.
You understand? We enjoyed doing it. It's a process. Life is all about building someone through a process. The children we have these days, they are not going through the process. They are not learning. So in a short while from now, even we are already experiencing it as we speak right now. You go to a mechanic workshop, maybe your vehicle has a little fault and they have to fix it. What you find is that the guy says it piles up work, and you see people all around agitating, I want my job done, all that, and he tells you, I'm sorry, I don't have boys to work with. In fact, some of them tell you, in fact, I had like 2 or 3, but they stopped coming. Some of them have entered into internet fraud.
Yeah.
These things is happening in this society, and it's not good at all.
It's killing our
It's killing our
society
society.
because we don't have good mechanics anymore. We don't have guys into fashion anymore, because these guys, in fact, they even affect the prices of goods and services
Of
in the
course,
market.
let me tell you how that happens. For instance, when you go to the mechanic workshop before,
Yeah.
they will bring out that thing that is having fault.
Yes.
They will clean it, fix it again, and you can use it for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months,
Yeah.
depending on how the situation of
Maybe.
that particular thing may be. But what you have now, when you go to mechanic workshop, they just remove it and say, "Oga,
It's
go
not
and buy
good
it, go and buy it." So you go to buy it. So you see that everyone now meets in the market. Take for instance, you didn't have any reason to go to the market to buy that thing. Maybe they would have been able to fix it for you to use in another 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
But you don't have mechanics that repairs. So
They just replace.
they replace.
They don't repair.
They don't repair. There's no more repair. What we have is replacement. So that has placed a high demand on what? On spare parts. On spare parts.
What you're saying now, it's what is really happening.
Yes.
Because you look at the whole ripple effect in our marketplace is changing. Now, these guys have access to so much money, they are so impatient, and what they do is they just meet the mechanic guy and say, I need you to change it. And he changes it, he gets used to changing it, he doesn't have boys that works with him, it helps him, saves his time. But you see, as he grows older, there is no replacement of that skill in the marketplace.
Of course.
And so because there is shortage of supply of such skill, the prices go up.
They go up. Let me even paint another scenario for you. For instance, you that knows how you made your money, when you get to a mechanic workshop, you want to ask all the questions.
That's true.
And you want to find out, why am I replacing this? And then, if possible, you even want to go to the market and get it yourself. So you will get it at the normal price and you bring it back and then they fix. But you see what these internet fraudsters do? They just take the vehicle to the mechanic and they leave it and say, "Okay, how long will it take you to fix it?" The man says, "Okay, between so and so time." They say, "Okay, fix it fast. I need the vehicle. How much will it cost?" The man says, "I will transfer."
And that's it.
And that's it. Sometimes those who even follow you to the market, they will not price. They will just tell them, "Okay, how much? Okay, let me just transfer for you." So if you were a part seller, for instance, a product that you never expected that you could sell for 5,000,
And you're selling it.
and somebody who came and he just said, "How much?" You say 100,000, and he pays. Will you bring that product back to 5,000 naira again? Every other person who comes, we start buying that product 100,000.
So the earlier we arrest this issue, the better for us.
Of course.
As a society.
As a society.
Yes, we know there's corruption in Nigeria, in the government sector. We know that a whole lot of things needs to be put in place, but it has to start from the home.
Of course.
Because the young ones that are coming up now, they are worse, over 1,000 times worse than those that are already in power. So what do you think parents now, because we can see that the change of Nigeria needs to start from the home.
Of course.
What do you think parents should do now?
Well, it's not just enough to bring children to this world. I have often said that. When every parent should understand what it... In fact, it is an error for you to benefit from your own parents and refuse to pass same to your children. The problem we have today is actually because we are not passing the virtues to our children. We are not talking to them. We are not enlightening them enough. We are not close to them. We all are just struggling. We are trying to get to that level. We are in competition here and there. We want to become like our next neighbor. You know, we don't really have time for these kids. Some of us even spend money. We are ready to spend the money, but we don't have the time
you just said something that we are all living in competition.
Of course.
Because that word strikes me so hard, and that's the reason even why some parents will compare their children with the other man's children, and I think that also contributes in pushing some of the children out there to do what they are not supposed to do.
In fact, if a parent, children, they see what is happening, they see that their neighbor's child came with a vehicle they know he never worked for,
Wow.
he cannot afford, and the parents of that child welcomed the child with whatever he brought to the house, and they are celebrating it. Sometimes you find some parents that will come and tell their children, can't you see our neighbor's child? Can't you see? They start comparing. That's one. For some parents, they may not compare. Then the children on their own, seeing that that thing has been accepted and tolerated, they think that it is the right thing to do. They think it is a norm, it's a practice, it's something that, okay, everybody is doing it and getting away with it. No, they watch this guy, over time the guy is having more and more and more and more, and they ask themselves, why can't I have what he has?
Yeah.
Why can't I do what he's doing? Does he have 4 heads? So that is the issue. Most of the issue, there are institutions that have failed us.
Oh, wow.
We cannot just narrow it to the government. Government is one of the institutions. We have the family institution,
Which also we have failed.
yes,
That fathers and mothers are looking for their 15-year-old child to take care of them.
Then we have the traditional institution.
Which also, you are saying, has failed.
Of course.
And we have the religious institution.
Then you now talk about the government. Who becomes a governor tomorrow? Who becomes a president tomorrow?
Comes from the family
It comes
institution
from the family.
to the traditional,
To the society.
to the
Take, for
societal-
instance, when you talk about grassroots, what are you talking about? You are talking about somebody that came from a family that is well known to a certain
Area or
community or
Environment.
an environment. Or settlement, whichever
However
way you want
put
it.
it, yeah.
Yes. So now, it therefore means that even the scriptures that we read, the Bible says, train up a child the way it should
way
grow.
it should go.
So that when it grows up, it will not depart from it. Now, let me take you back. In our days, there are certain Rubicons we cannot cross in life because of what has been instilled in us.
Yes.
We understood growing up that, in fact, in schools, I will tell you what happened in school. I will tell you what happened in our community, in our homes. In fact, when something happens to you, a neighbor comes to visit your parents and they see that you are kneeling down. They say, this boy, what has he done? When they tell the neighbor what you have done, the neighbor will give you one. So it was a collective effort.
Yes. You have a strong point
Yeah.
there. It was not just the family that was training the child, it was the family, the community, all the other institutions
Yes,
around
of course.
took part in raising up that child.
Raising up that child. That's why you could even see, from what we were told, a community used to send a child to school. They will gather money and send a child that they know is excellent, is brilliant. They've seen that this child, if we invest in this child, something good will come back to our community. So there were times a community invested like that. In fact, morals and all of that. There were times families, parents were being summoned
By communities.
because of
the behavior of their children.
Exactly.
And all these things are no more.
They are no more in existence. That's where the traditional institution comes in.
Well, I think we all have a lot. I have to let you go because I know you have so many other engagements. This is Vantage House TV. My name remains Michael Simeon. Thank you, Mr. Ojo. In fact, as you kept talking, my head is just like, wow, more needs to be done on this area. And you just brought one very important area that a couple of areas that we could use to correct some of the ills in our society. Just tell the people out there something you need to drop before you go.
Well, I want to thank you for listening to us. But this issue that we are discussing today, as I round up, I would like you to know that it's a very important issue that we should not treat with kid gloves. Okay. Because the adverse effects is going to affect you and I. Because when these kids tomorrow, maybe they are not able to afford these drugs because whatever they are involved with is no longer paying them. They will come to attack you and I. They will come to attack you.
I think I saw a video. Oh, no. Let's not go there. But you are very correct.
In fact, so for our own safety, for our own peace of mind, Let us arise and say no to
Internet
fraud
and substance abuse.
and substance abuse. In fact, some of us, parents are selling this. Isn't it people, human beings that are selling this? So if we stop selling and they don't get where to buy anymore, then the institutions saddled with the responsibility of applying the appropriate laws to curb and to ensure that this does not continue, they should wake up to their responsibilities. For instance, we cannot overemphasize the fact that NAFDAC is supposed to be there to do that. NDLEA is supposed to be there to do that. So there are several other ministries, institutions, according to the various governments of the states and the federal, that are saddled with this responsibility. It's just like if we do this thing like a whistleblowing thing, blow the whistle and government takes action accordingly without having to involve you or call your name, then we are good to go. So I want to thank you very much for having me once more, Vantage House. It was my pleasure.
I mean, it's so exciting to have you on the program. I believe you parents out there, you're listening, you have a comment to make, drop it in the comment section. And when we come back again, we'll read your comment to the viewers. And if you have your platform, share this on your platform. Let this message go far, because together we need to arrest drug abuse and internet fraud in our society. Thank you very much. I remain Michael Simeon. God bless you.